So, in retrospect, maybe entrusting your entire net worth with this man may not have been the best move, but jokes aside, guys, come on, have some fun here. WTF is going on with Ethereum right now? Is it done? The price action, the market dominance, the community sentiment is the worst I've seen in years. There's an existential crisis going on right now with Ethereum, the kind of vibe that usually means a bottom could ironically be closer than people think, as long as macro doesn't mega cuck us, which is still a very real possibility. So let's discuss what is happening to Ethereum, the reasons why it's happening, and where Ethereum could be headed from here. So diving into the charts, here's Ethereum on the weekly. First, Ethereum, as you've probably noticed, has not made a new all-time high this cycle. Need about 20% more to go. And if we don't, then it's an indicator that Ethereum might be at the beginning stages of becoming a fading, dying network. Now that's a wild thing to say about freaking Ethereum, man, but making lower highs with each consecutive market cycle is the classic sign of a dying network. Whether you want to accept that or not, we need ETH to rally later on this year. Bitcoin Cash as an example, historical price action, it continues to make lower highs each cycle. Here's the same for EOS. EOS, man, that was like the thing back in 2017, and then it wasn't. These are dead coins. Not saying they have no interest at all in, but like, who the hell talks about this crap anymore? Any buyers of these two coins are probably just exit liquidity for others who are desperate to get out of their underwater bags. Now, I'm not at all certain that this is going to be Ethereum's fate, but it's something to consider. It is possible. Just because you were the market leader at one point doesn't mean you will always stay that way, especially if you fail to innovate. Second point, look at how ETH is broken below this major ascending support line that's currently coming in at 2150. Now, this support has been in place since the bear market lows of 2022, so getting daily and weekly closes below this line at a technical level spells serious trouble for the asset. Unless you recover that ASAP, it is major break of market structure, which is bad news bears. Let's look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Here's Bitcoin and Ethereum's historical price action versus each other on the logarithmic chart. Notice how Ethereum has tracked pretty close to Bitcoin until 2024. That's when the US spot Bitcoin ETFs got approved, which gave Bitcoin the momentum to make a new all-time high. Bitcoin then consolidated and made a new high above $100,000 based on ETF inflows, the Trump trade, the strategic Bitcoin reserve narrative, but not Ethereum. And it did have an ETF, which was a bit of a failure to launch, to be honest. It did get some inflows, but nothing like Bitcoin. It never got the power momentum behind it to break $4,000, much less to make an attempt for a new all-time high above $4,700. Now, here's the ETH BTC chart right now. One ETH is worth just 0.02 BTC. The last time ETH was this low to BTC was December 2020. Finally, here's the dominance chart. ETH currently has just 8% dominance over the entire crypto market. That was like 20% a few months ago. That's crazy, man. February of 2020 was the last time it was this low. Now here's the same chart, but in a different format. You can see Bitcoin's dominance has been pushing up since late 2020, but then Ethereum's dominance started to get squeezed between Bitcoin and all the other altcoins in early 2024. And late 2024 surges of stuff like XRP pushed Ethereum even further out of the rankings in terms of dominance. So those are the charts. Now, why is this happening to Ethereum? Well, before I break that down, you know what else is kind of effed up? Taxes, man. Taxes. And it's coming. Tax season's here, which is why I want to introduce today's sponsor, COINTRACKING. Thank you to COINTRACKING for sponsoring this video. Look, managing your cryptocurrency portfolio can feel like a full-time job, especially when you've been trading for years like I have. Heck, I even remember back when I first got into the cryptocurrency markets. I was so excited, but also pretty damn overwhelmed. Keeping track of all my trades, the wallets, all that stuff, taxes, what a nightmare. I had transactions scattered across different exchanges and so many wallets. And every tax season, oh gosh darn, I dread the heck out of that paperwork. That's where COINTRACKING steps in. With more than 1.7 million active users, including 25,000 accountants and corporate clients, this is a game changer, 100%. Whether I need an overview of my profits and losses, or whether I want to generate a tax report, COINTRACKING has it covered. COINTRACKING even supports over 300 exchanges and wallets, so I don't have to sit around spending hours manually inputting all the data, which of course sucks. Plus, it's the cheapest tool out there, and they even offer a free plan for up to 200 transactions. Pretty cool. And the tax reports? They're the most precise in the market, with support for 12 country-specific reports and 15 tax methods like FIFO and LIFO. And if you need more support, guess what? COINTRACKING's full service handles everything from the managing of your accounts to the filing of your crypto taxes. Doesn't get much better than that. So if you want to make managing your crypto easier, then check out COINTRACKING. Use my affiliate link in the description to get signed up for free. And if you go for a paid plan, you'll get a 10% discount exclusively using that link. And if you pay with Bitcoin, you'll get an extra 5% extra off. This is one tool you don't want to miss out on. Link in the description. Let's get back into this. So we got 4 reasons why ETH has been fading, and they're all kind of interrelated. Number one, the narratives this cycle have been Bitcoin and meme coins. Bitcoin has had the US ETFs and the Trump strategic reserve narrative and Michael Saylor buying. Then we had the meme coin run that primarily came on Solana. We had a bit of stuff on Base and a few other chains, but it was really a Solana-driven run. Ethereum got left out of all this. And remember that one of the major narratives last cycle was DeFi, which is Ethereum's bread and butter, baby, but there's been no big DeFi boom this cycle. It's not to say DeFi is irrelevant. People are still using DeFi protocols, just it's not a big narrative. So Ethereum just hasn't had that much to offer the market, except eigenlayer restaking. Nobody gives a crap about that. Number 2, Ethereum has cannibalized itself because of high network fees. An entire ecosystem of layer 2 networks has been built on top of Ethereum. Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, Starknet, Linea, Blast, Scroll, and like 40 others. The list goes on and on. So instead of liquidity flowing into Ethereum, it's actually getting diverted into the larger layer 2 ecosystem, which doesn't require having very much ETH in general. A lot of stuff happens with USDC, and they're largely parasitic to the main chain. So there's no need to buy as much Ethereum for your gas fees, and there's no big burn going on anymore. You just buy the ETH for your layer 2, $10, that's gonna cover a whole bunch of transactions. Number 3, the fees. ETH main chain is really one of the most expensive chains to use out there. It's an absolutely horrific user experience. Even with the reduced network activity this past year, Ethereum still pulled in more fees and revenue than the competition simply because it's so damn expensive. You can look at its cumulative fee total, $20 billion. That's 5x more than Bitcoin has ever been able to generate. It's insane. Most of that because for many years, like 2021, it would cost $200 to make a transaction on Uniswap paid in gas fees. Well, retail's done paying $20, $50 to do something on chain. That's why they've moved to Ethereum competitors, Solana, Avalanche, Sui, and a dozen others. So those are some of the whys, okay? But now we need to get to that million-dollar question. Where does Ethereum go from here, man? Will it eventually recover, make a new all-time high? Is everything gonna be fine? Or is it gonna continue to lose market share to competitors and be slowly ground into the sand over the next few cycles, becoming the next blockbuster, failing to innovate? Honestly, I don't know, but I do think it depends on how a few things play out. But before we get to that, we must acknowledge that when the herd is saying that an asset is dead and it's at major all-time lows and it's a max pain scenario for everybody, capitulation all over the timeline, could be a buying opportunity, to be honest. It might be the exact counter signal that you need, just FYI. Going back to the ETH BTC chart, we're definitely there right now. And then to build off this, Ethereum still dominates the DeFi sector. It still holds about 50% of DeFi's TVL because old ETH whales just keep doing shit on Ethereum. They don't care if they have to pay $100 to do it. They have $100 million. So is it time to start catching knives? Well, no, don't know. I see Ethereum, it needs to stop making lower lows, okay? I'm not opposed to buying back into Ethereum, but I need to see some kind of strength in the charts, some kind of support to form up here with higher lows actually starting to be established. Until then, it's not super attractive. Next, ETH is going to need some narrative momentum, and I just don't know where it's going to come from. The most likely narrative, though, could be something coming back to DeFi or some kind of real-world asset stuff, but again, not going to be retail friendly. It's not going to cause a big FOMO for ETH. So if we've got some stabilizing and increasing price action, that's good. If we can get some more solid narratives coming back in, people will come in anyway, but they've got to be attractive narratives. That could be a good entry point. And finally, Ethereum still needs cheaper fees, which is a long way away. Fees over even $2 are wildly non-competitive with the rest of the market that charges less than a cent to do a transaction on average. So they're going to struggle against competition. So to wrap everything up, is Ethereum totally effed? It's too early to tell. Ethereum can definitely turn the corner. They've got some of the smartest people in the world working on this thing. And there'll be signs when it does turn that corner. But at the same time, we must acknowledge why Ethereum is in the place that it's in right now. It's made a lot of mistakes. The Ethereum Foundation's made a lot of mistakes. They have chosen to be non-competitive and all zen and bullshit in the most competitive industry in the world, and it's just not a good strategy. They have prioritized parasitic layer 2s instead of layer 1. Layer 1 should cost a fraction of a penny to use, and then ETH would be at $5,000 right now, not hovering under $2,000 at the time we recorded this video. Vitalik, get busy, dude. People are counting on you. Thanks for watching.